Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of the Author Spotlight. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren L. Palmer. So excited to be with you for this episode where I get the privilege, the honor to go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from across the globe. I have on today the queen herself. I thought she had some pink and green on. I wasn't for sure. Jessica Yarbrough, who is the founder of Passion for Purpose Ministries Incorporated, a nonprofit outreach organization. Her mission is to be a catalyst in cultivating a sincere, exuberant passion in the hearts of others so that they may discern and fulfill their life's purpose. As an ordained minister and powerful evangelist with over 17 years of experience in gospel ministry, I know y'all thought she was just 20 years old, but hey, the Lord is keeping her together. Jessica takes a special interest in teaching singles how to embrace their lives with singleness. She hosts various revivals, conferences, and workshops to empower men and women with kingdom truths through biblical principles, spiritual guidance, and moral support. Now, I shared just a little bit about your bio. I know that's not all of it, especially with the responsibilities you have for your career. So welcome to the show, Miss Jessica Yarbrough, and please fill in any of the gaps that I might have left out on your bio.
Thank you very much, Darren. I'm delighted that you would have me on today. Well, like you said, I'm in ministry, but I am also practicing attorney. I was previously practicing in Chicago, Illinois, some years ago, but then I came back down to Arkansas, which is home, and so I'm also practicing here in Arkansas. And so my schedule keeps me pretty busy, but I'm not complaining about it.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for sharing that. But Miss Yarbrough, I know we're seeing all the titles, the whole nine. But if you don't mind, share with us the name of your book and why this book as your first book.
Okay. Well, the name of my book is Stronger Every Single Day: How to Defeat Heartbreak and Have Fulfillment While Living Single. And so the purpose behind this book was to basically share bits and pieces of my story as a single Christian, and how sometimes you can go through situations that can be very, for lack of a better term, heartbreaking. And I was certain that if I was experiencing these things, then there has to be other people out there that were going through the same things. Because many times, especially in the church or faith-based arenas, a lot of the focus is based on marriage and married couples, which is great, which is something that I desire, which is something that most singles desire. But the process to getting there, there has to be some steps taken, so that we can be healed, so that we can be whole. And if we're broken, a lot of times broken singles make broken spouses. So my purpose was to just get my story out there and be a conduit of healing for those that will be willing to receive.
Man, she already dropping fire bombs on us already. You said that you said singleness. What was that quote? That last quote again? If you're single, if you're broken and your singleness, you'll be broken when your relationships or your marriage.
Right.
What was that?
Right. I was just saying, broken singles make broken spouses. Without going through the proper channels to overcome the hurdles that we so often experience as singles with failed relationships. And sometimes what people do is they rush into a subsequent relationship or a subsequent marriage to camouflage the pain instead of actually dealing with it. And I call that superficial security, which is you're really not secure in yourself and who you are. And instead of dealing with those things that you have going on within, you rush into something else to try to make yourself feel better. So.
And you know what? I'm glad that you shared that. And for those who are listening, I didn't have that term at the time, but you know what? My mom had to share that with me back in the day before I was married, because I went through that same thing which you just brought up. So that hit home. So I'm preaching to the choir right now. When she shared with me, like, hey, Darren, spend some time by yourself, or spend some time with just you and the Lord. Don't go from one relationship to the next. You're going from one relationship to the next. You need to find some time for you to have some me time or time alone with the Lord to work on some things that you need to work on. Get yourself whole, then you can be whole for somebody else. And so we share that in a relationship perspective, but that's the same thing for those who are tuned in, who are desiring to be authors as well. You might have brokenness where you're not giving all you have towards your career or towards a relationship or parenting or how you're serving in your local church, whatever it may be for you. But those are transferable skills. Just like we talk about transferable skills that can be a good thing, that can be healthy. You also can have things that transfer for as habits. They could be bad habits that could be interfering for you reaching your desired goals or what you want to be in life, because you haven't got over the hump. So you're still broken in other areas. So if it's a broken singleness, leads to broken spouses. It's the same way if you're broken in other areas of your life. If you're cutting corners at the job, typically you're going to cut corners in other areas of your life as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. And it's already getting good, but I want to talk about the mental perspective too right now. What made you believe that you could write a book when so many have failed at the task?
Well, that's a great question. For me, I think I'm a little bit different because I love to write already. And I love to read and to research. So, of course, that has a lot to do with why I'm in the profession I'm in. Additionally, I've written like articles for magazines and other types of publications. So the gist of the writing aspect I knew I could do, but this was kind of a magnified version of that, what I had done previously. So I knew that I could do it. It was just a matter of pulling the whole thing together. And for me, after I spoke to you on the phone in our initial consultation, and the guidance that I believe that I would get from you, I believe that made it even more attainable to get it done. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the weekly meetings that we have over the phone, the weekly follow-ups, I think those things help me to stay on task and to keep it in the forefront of my mind. Because you can have the ability, but you also have to have the discipline and the system in place in order to complete the project. So with my skill set and then with your guidance, I think that it was kind of like a win-win situation.
Well, you know what? I know this is not found in the Gospels, but at the same time, all we do is win, 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 no matter. I'm sorry. I had a moment right there. Y'all forgive me for being in the flesh. Forgive me for being in the flesh. Let me lay hands on my own self right now. But at the same time, that is right. You want to have teamwork make the dream work. So you want to create win-wins, knowing what your skill set is, what you do well, and then partnering with other people. Now, I'm bringing this up because Miss Yarbrough is sharing with us areas of expertise, but I don't want y'all to limit it to just one area. Now, we're talking about relationships. We're talking about connection. But what does that look like for as your relationship with family members? What does that look like for as we share it with the book perspective as well? What about your health? It might be your weight. It might be your blood pressure. Think of ways of partnering with people that can help you. You do what you do good or what you do well. Then where is it where somebody else can partner with you? We can have a Paul and Silas moment or whatnot. We can, we can look at Warren Buffett or whatnot, and Bill Gates partnering to take on. So we can look at a man out of a Starbucks owner and Oprah Winfrey coming together. Those who are winning understand the power of partnerships. And so just make sure that you get that power of partnerships. You can get it done and expedite the process without it taking forever. And I know people are looking at all the titles, all the hats that you wear, and I know they think to themselves, Darren, I'm over here barely getting a paragraph done. So how in the world did this girl say we in the South right now? Did that girl say law? Did she say law? That girl is a lawyer over there. And then at the same time, she's doing ministry. So for those who are listening, we have plenty of people who are clergymen and women or whatnot, and who serve in some capacity. So they know how much that takes on you. Plus, at the same time, you have so many other roles that you play in your family. Please share with us. Give us some hacks. How in the world are you creating content? I know you love to write, but how do you find time to even write what's already on your schedule, with your plate being so full?
Well, yeah, it has been a challenge. And one of the things I didn't mention was I'm also getting my MBA and MPA. at the same time, like right now. So yeah, I'm doing a lot. But one thing I found out is that I schedule out times that I know I'm not going to be interrupted, which is usually for me, it's late at night. Um, I'm a night type of person anyway, so I'm usually up. And if I'm up, I'm either going to be maybe watching TV, talking on the phone, playing a game on my phone, doing something just in my downtime. So I decided to take that time and utilize it for creating content. And that's why many times when I would correspond with your office, it probably would be an email received at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So that was for me the best way for me to handle it. And then the sacrifices come in as to where sometimes on some weekends, my friends may want to do something and hang out. I may have to cut it short a little bit. And to me, the benefit of getting this book done outweighs, missing a movie or, hanging out on the town for a few weeks. So there's definitely that disciplinary aspect of it, the sacrifice of sleep, and then maybe some of those leisurely things that are not totally essential that I can do without. So those are the things that I kind of had to trade in to make sure that I get the content done.
I love that. You have to be willing to give up to go up. And so not saying that Mrs. Yarbrough cut out on having a life, period. You notice what she gave that disclaimer, I might go out, but cut it a little short. Some things that I realized that might not be beneficial for me getting where I need to far as getting content. I know I haven't done anything far as my content, but I'm sitting up there watching the Game of Thrones or whatnot, or I'm going to see the next, trilogy or whatnot that's out at the box office or whatnot. I might need to scale away from that because this will have a generational benefit by getting this book done. It's someone who's dependent on this, who could be contemplating suicide right now because of some of the things that they're going through, or could go into a marriage that would be successful if they would become whole and focus on their relationship with the Lord before they move forward. And also just being aware and conscious that others are struggling with you. So many times the enemy, the accuser of the brethren, make sure that you think that you are the only one with the issue. You're the only one with the problem that you have. But we gain strength with knowing that it's others who have went through the same things that we've going through, or going through the same things that we're going through, not in an evil way or a player hater way, but it gives us strength to know that we're not the only one. As the great songwriter and king of pop once said, you are not alone. So that's what you want to keep in mind as far as what you're going through on your own journey, because it gives you the understanding like, wait a minute, if they can do it, I can do it. I can overcome this as well or whatnot. So just make sure that you keep a plan, stay focused, and have that accountability as well. But you got to have some kind of discipline as well. I always share with all those who are serious, say that they're serious about doing the book, it's TM, time and money. If you show me what you care about, you show me your time, what you do with your time, you show me what you using your money on, and then I'm gonna tell you what's important for your life. Now, everything else what you say with your lips is one thing, but when you show me that time and money, how that align, then we're gonna see what you're serious about. So, do you agree with that, Miss Yarbrough?
Absolutely, I totally agree. Totally. Hey, Darren, I just thought of another point.
Go ahead.
One thing that I also found to be beneficial is that even though I like to read, I would not read other materials that were similar to what I was writing, because I didn't want those things to distract me from the end result that I was trying to get. Because matter of fact, I had a young lady who had a book about singles, and it was, it looks great, but I haven't read it yet because I don't want to be distracted and see what she has and then start the second guessing myself on the vision that I have for my project. So kind of put those things to a minimum. I would continue to do research so that I could give a great work product, but just for the purposes of reading to see what somebody else is saying, that's something I haven't done.
That you brought up a great point. You want to make sure that you stay in your lane. Keep the uniqueness of your own voice. That's what Ms. Yarbrough is sharing with us today as well. Don't get so caught up, because I've seen people throw away a project because they read somebody else's. But you need to be you. You know, I don't know if you got the memo or if you got the instant message or not, but you're not Michelle Obama. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you are you. Michelle is no better than you. You know better than Michelle. But you know, you can't come in there with that perspective. I've had people call me, you know, well, Darren, I was reading Michelle Obama book, and I was, for one thing, you don't have Michelle Obama budget. For one thing, let's just start off with that first of all, for the record. And then the other thing is that just you had your own story that you wanted to do, and then all of a sudden you read Michelle Obama book, and you just done ripped up your whole method, your whole strategy that was meant for you. So you got to make sure. Let me go ahead and throw a little word in there for, because I know we got some word people now. Let me just use one of these things, right? It's the story of the parables. You must use what was being given to you, or the story of the talent. That's what I meant to say. It's the story of the talents. You must use the talents that was allocated to you. What are you doing with yours? You will only be held accountable for what you have, or the measure that you've been given. So use it to the best of your ability. While everybody else trying to put that armor on you, you must have a spirit of David and come out there with your slingshot and your smooth stone, baby, and knock down your Goliath. Don't shout me down when I'm preaching good right now. I think I might pass the offering plate around here right now. I feel something coming on right now. But at the same time, though, we want to make sure that you stay in your lane. That's what Miss Yarbrough is saying. You can read everybody else's stuff later on. Not saying you can't read a different type of genre or something else that could encourage you or whatnot, but don't lose who you are and lose your voice when you write. Speaking of that, knowing that you had the mental fortitude to get it done and move forward, share with the audience now, knowing that, hey, it was an idea, it was something in my spirit, it's something I embarked on. I made the investments, I put the time in, I sacrificed. But share with us now what is meant to those around you and even to yourself to see the image and know that, wow, I really am an author, and what it's meant to the family, friends, and loved ones and those around you.
Yeah, it has been an amazing experience, and I mean, an amazing accomplishment. Like, those in my circle, they're so proud. I mean, they are just, ready to read and promote it. And it's a sense of accomplishment for me, because I always knew that I would write something. I just didn't know when. I kind of envisioned it being further down the road, but to know that it's possible and attainable even in this season of my life, it's just been a wonderful and self-fulfilling experience. And also, what it has done for me is the content has helped me to grow personally. It has helped me to dig within to those deep places and to be able to articulate those messages to other people. And then once I've done that, it helps me to be accountable, in essence, to what I've written, because the tools that I've shared are tools that will help the readers in their single walk. So by me sharing those things, I'm like, okay, now I must, even though I'm already doing what I said that others should do, it has given me even more incentive to continue walking the path that I'm encouraging other people to walk.
Thank you again, Ms. Yarbrough, for sharing that. And I want those who are tuned in to pay attention to the therapeutic part of writing the book. That yes, it's a benefit for others, but at the same time, it serves a dual purpose, being a blessing to you as well. For those who I know that, Ms. Yarbrough evangelizes and shares and speaks and shares the gospel as well. But it's for those who might preach or share or do a workshop, whatever it is, it's a benefit for you too. You're not just preaching at someone, the message is for you too as well. It's for the message, it's for the messenger as well. So the same thing pertains when it comes to your book too. When you're creating that content, it's a level of accountability for yourself, because for most of us, we don't want to be one of the fake ones, someone who's telling everybody else to do something and we're not implementing and using it in our own lives. So just like you said, it just causes a greater consciousness of, wait a minute, it was good that I heard that again. it was good that I was afflicted, even though I might be in here writing this late night, but it was good because that brought that top of mind awareness for me that I need to tighten up a little bit right here in this area, or, someone just brought something up that I can share this with them in a message that I have, or maybe just give it to something that they can work with somebody that they know that this will be a tool that would be beneficial to them. Now, how can they connect with you, those who are listening? How can they purchase the book? If you're on social media anywhere, any handles, how can they connect with Jessica Yarbrough?
Well, definitely on social media. On Facebook, you can look up Jessica Yarbrough, or you can look up Passion for Purpose Ministries. You can go to pfpministries.org, or you can look up the website for the book, which is www.strongereverysingleday.com.
No doubt. I want to make sure we got that out. I don't want no hate mail. All these believers, they was saying Hosanna, Hosanna 1 minute, then they had him to the cross. So I want to make sure I stayed in good standings or whatnot. So I just want to thank you again, Jessica, for coming on. I knew you was going to drop a ton of value to our audience, which you did. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. But before we get out of here, I want you to speak to that young lady or that young man who might be thinking to themselves, it makes sense for Jessica to do a book because she got more degrees than a thermometer, saying she's a beautiful woman inside and out. But it makes sense for her to do it. But speak to that person out there who might think, I'm not Jessica Yarbrough, I'm not Michelle Obama, I'm not Bill Gates, I'm not Carlos Slim, but why should I write a book? I know I want to write a book, but I don't think I'm famous enough or got enough credibility to share my story. Share with that person why it's still important to share their story with the world.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because I had the same question. Because there's so much material out there. People are releasing books every day. But the thing is that we cannot discredit our own story. So I would say to a person, don't discredit your own story. Just like we all have a thumbprint, a fingerprint. Each one is unique and specifically designed for that person. So just like you have a thumbprint, put your imprint on your work product and let your story encourage somebody. With the billions of people on this planet, I'm sure that there's someone somewhere that can benefit from what you have to offer. The scripture says that all of creation is waiting on the manifestation of the sons of God. So somebody somewhere is waiting on what you have to offer. And that's what I had to tell myself. So that's where I got my encouragement. And so that's the last words of advice that I leave for someone else who might be thinking about writing their story.
Hey, she done dropped the mic. She done dropped the mic on us right there at the end. There's no sense of me messing that up right there. She done dropped the mic. But I'm carrying this with me. Don't discredit your own story. Those are words to live by right there. Those are words to live by. Once again, I just want to thank you, Jessica. It's been a privilege and honor to be able to connect and work with you. Now, I just want to let you know you stuck with me now until the Lord calls us home. So I just want you to know that ahead of time. So I don't want you thinking you're going to get rid of me when this book is done and out to everybody. So you stuck with me right now. So I'm grateful to have you in my life. You're doing a wonderful job. You're being used as the hand and feet of Jesus Christ. This is just another step of God using you and manifesting great things through you. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Darren. Appreciate you.
Anytime. For those who are tuned in, remember that this is the year for your new book. Until next time, be blessed and be great.